Well, hello Internet, and welcome to part 9 of my Blender video tutorial series. In this part of the tutorial, I'm going to start showing you how to create more complicated models with Blender. And specifically what I'm going to try to do here is model the car from the Incredibles movie, Mr. Incredible's car. In the description underneath the video, you'll find a whole bunch of little tips in regards to things that I use in this tutorial so that you'll be able to easily follow along. And I'll also include the file that I have here along with all the pictures of the Incredibles car, or my version of it anyway. And I have a lot to do, so let's get into it. Okay, so you can see right here a kind of, I haven't figured out how I want to handle the materials, but this is basically the car that we're going to try to model in this tutorial series. This is actually going to take a couple videos to put together because I want to take my time so that I'm sure that you can follow along. Okay, so here we are inside of Blender, and like always, everything that I do with my keys is going to show up down here in the bottom left-hand corner. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of our cube right here. As you saw, X, and I deleted it. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to bring in my images. Now this is loosely based off of the car from The Incredibles because I couldn't actually find, a perfect model of it. So what I'm going to do here first is bring in my background images that I drew inside of Inkscape, and I'm going to bring in my side part, the right side of it, and you can see right here where I have all of my different images, and I'll put these on my webpage if you want to go get them. So side, there that is, and we can switch over to our side view by going 3 and 5, and there you can see it right there. And then what I'm going to do also is I'm going to make it show up so I can see it. So I'm going to click on front, and I'm going to take the opacity down to 0.15. Alright, so there that is. Okay, now let's add another one. Add image, and this one is going to be my front view. And once again, open, and here is my front. And we'll switch over to front view. There that is. And then I'm going to have it be on top. I'm switching it to front so that I can always see it whenever I'm drawing on screen, as you're going to see here in a minute. 0.15 for the opacity. And then I'm going to hit Control 1 to go to the back. And I'm going to add the back part. So where is that at? And it's not going to be all black. Well, obviously, I showed you what we're shooting for. I was going to say that it's not going to have the black around the outside of it, but I already showed you that. Okay, so then we'll go back, and then we'll go open. And then we will go find our image, and there is back, and there is the back. And we're just using this loosely. It's not going to look exactly like this, obviously. And front, and opacity, and 0.15. Okay, so we got all of our different pieces. I'm going to switch over to my side view now. And what I'm going to do is block in the basics of what we have here. And you can see this is a pretty complicated model. And this is going to be extruded out. This is going to be extruded out. The back bumpers and flares and these little streamlined things here and tires. And then the bumper is going to be extruded. So this is a fairly complicated model. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to go Shift A, and I'm in object mode, and I'm going to go and create a cube. And then I'm going to want to move this around here a little bit on the screen. And the very first thing you need to do is to block in all of the main shapes on all the sides, and then slowly work into more and more detail. So what I want to do here first is I want to scale on the y-axis. Green is y, so scale Y and stretch it out. And I basically want to go up to the point where I'm going to start extruding. So I can extrude from that point there forward, and I can extrude the bumper out forward from there. And then I want to scale on the z-axis, so scale Z, and then let's bring this up, and I want to extrude the bumper on the bottom, and I want to extrude obviously the top also. So let's just put it like that, and let's drag it up here a little bit, and I can go down a little bit more also. So this is stuff by, things you're going to do mainly through practicing. So, the more and more you draw things like this, the more and more you'll get a feel for, what works for you. All right, so there we go. That is the basics of the car. So what I want to do now is I want to extrude up the top part of it. So now what I want to do is create some loop cuts. So I'm going to go Tab to jump over into edit mode, and I'm going to go Control and R, and I'm going to have to create loop cuts that are going to allow me to extrude up here and then extrude up here. So I don't know if you can see this. View it full screen if you can't. But basically, I'm going to move this around until I can get myself the little purple bar to show up there, as you can see right there. And I want 2 of them, so I'm going to move with my middle mouse button up a little bit, and then I'm going to left click. Now I'm going to move. I'm just moving the mouse over without holding any buttons for that guy right there. I'm going to hit A, and then this down here, remember this guy down here, he can cause you an immense amount of problems. So I'm going to say that I'm going to be turning this on and off. Whenever it's off, it's going to select what is behind it, any vertices. And whenever it is on, whenever it's dark, it is not going to select what's behind it. Okay, so that can cause you a lot of problems. If you're having trouble modeling complicated things, it's going to be because you're not properly clicking on the right selection tools down here. So I want this guy right here, and I want to move it into place. So I have the vertice select on. I'm going to go B, and I'm going to get this guy, and then I'm going to drag it into place, which is going to be right about there. All right, so we got all those selected. I'm going to hit A. It's always better to just, every time you do anything, just click on A. So we're going to go in here, and then I'm going to extrude this up. Now I want to extrude the face, so I'm going to do face select, this down here. This is what vertices select, edge select, face select. Okay, so face select, I'm going to right click. Got it. And then I'm going to hit extrude, and then I'm going to hit enter. Then I'm going to go back, I'm going to hit 3, and then I'm going to move this into position just by dragging this up. All right, and that is going to get me the basics of outline that I'm looking for here with my car. All right, so once again, A, that's in position, so everything looks good there. Now what I want to do is I want to add a series of loop cuts that is going to model the outside of the car, going to completely ignore everything except the outsides. So I'm going to go in, once again, we're in edit mode, and I'm going to go Control and R. Now how many different loop cuts am I going to need for this top part? I'm going to need 2. So let's just come in here and let's go and create those 2 loop cuts. So we got this right here, and I'm going to go like that and create both of them. So not, and actually I only need 1 loop cut, right? Yeah. Okay, so I need 1 loop cut. So I'm going to move back to this, left click, drag it into place. And like I said, I'm using the image underneath just as a guide. And I'm going to put it like right there. Okay, A, get rid of that. Now I'm going to go and drag these into position. I don't want that one. Hit A. I'm going to go into vertices select. And you know what else I'm going to do? Before I do any of that other stuff, I'm going to go into the front part. Then I'm going to select all. And then I'm going to scale this guy so that it is the right width, and then I'm going to mirror it. So I am going to go, you can see this is red, which means the X plane or the X axis is what we're going to work with. So I want to go S, and then I want to go X. And now I can scale this out. So let's bring it out here to that position. That looks pretty good. And let's drag it out to roughly the size of our car. Remember, we're just using this as a guide. Then I'm going to left click, and then I'm going to hit A to deselect all that. Then I'm going to make sure that this guy down here is shut off. I'm going to come in, I go B, select this, and then I'm going to go X. And I'm going to delete all those vertices. So now I have half the car, and now what I'm going to do is mirror everything else over here. So I'm going to select all, and I'm going to come over here to the modifier, add modifier, and I'm going to come down here where it has mirror, and I'm going to mirror it. So now everything I do on the right side is going to happen on the left side as long as I have X here and merge here. And I'm also going to clip on clipping, and that just means if these two meet in the center that they're basically going to merge with each other. For the most part, that's a good idea. All right, so I got all of these different things. I could see here, remember, I want to mold the outside lines of my car before I do anything else. So I have a loop cut here, a loop cut here. That's going to allow me to do that properly. I need another loop cut so that I can do this properly. And I'm going to put another loop cut there. So, all right, so what we got, as we have this selected, I'm going to go shut that off with A, Control R, and I'm going to need a loop cut here, and then I'm going to put another loop cut down there. So up here, I basically just need 1 loop cut. So I'm going to left click, drag it down, and put it right in the middle of that guy. I'm going to go A, deselect that, and Control R once again. Come over here to the side, and let's just drag this right up around that area. And then A to deselect. Then I'm going to go in and B. Remember, make sure this dumb thing's shut off, otherwise you're going to have problems, because I want to change everything. Drag this into position, and that's good. A. And then I'm going to go and drag the other ones into position. So B, grab this guy, and there we go. We're molding the outside of our car. A again, B, and let's go and get this again. And there we are. So now our car, the front of our car is all molded out. That's good. A, and I'm going to go into 3, and then I'm going to do the same for these guys. So I'm going to go B like this and drag it into position, and that looks pretty good. This doesn't look good. A, remember, you're just hitting A and B over and over and over again. Let's drag this into position so that that's flat in the front, and that's good. A, and then we're going to do this again. Drag it into position, and then I'm going to deselect that, get just the bottom vertice, drag that into position, and I'm just going to ignore the fact that that dips in here. It doesn't matter. This is my design. I can do what I want with it. So if it makes it a little bit easier, I'm going to do it that way. And then we'll go and shape that. And I'm not going to do anything with this. I'm probably going to decide to merge this upwards like this instead of doing it the other way. Or maybe I can move it down. What do I want to do? I'm going to leave it the way that it is. All right, so we got that basic mold right there. Let's deselect. Let's jump to the back. I'm going to go Control I to do that. And now I need to go and mold this a little bit, or do I? Actually, I think that's fine. The back, whenever I drew it in my vector art tool, it was kind of like, do I like it or not? So I'm just going to keep it the way that it is. All right, so let's jump back to the side and start doing more complicated things. All right, so what do I want to do? Well, I'm probably going to come in here, and let's select this, and let's have this go downwards and then inwards like that. Yeah, that looks about right. Okay, so that's going to be on an angle. And then what I'm going to do is extrude the bumper out from that point. So I'm going to go, let's see, do I like that? Yeah, that's fine. I think that looks about straight. That's good enough. All right, so now what I want to do is I want to extrude out this bumper. And is that what I want to do? I think that's what looks good to me. So let's go. Let's drag this out here a little bit. Let's do a face select, grab it like that, and E to extrude, and then enter, and then go back into 3. And let's bring this out. And I'm thinking that I'm probably gonna maybe go like this. I don't know. A lot of this stuff is just by eye and just what looks good to you. Let's go and extrude it out that far. I'm going to deselect everything, jump back over into vertices mode, and go B, and let's select this part right here, and then let's move this up into position. And yeah, it looks fine. Okay, and then I can extrude out from that. Okay, so A once again, face select, get this, E, enter, back into 3, and then I'm going to bring this out again some more. Go right to that point right there. A to deselect, B, grab this guy. Whoops, jump back over into vertice mode. Oh, and you can also hit Control Tab to jump in, but for some reason I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. That's the reason why. See, I have a tendency to do dumb things when I do that. I don't know. It's just some malfunction in my brain. But you see how I went and put the 3D cursor there? I don't want it there. I want it in the center. So I'm just going to go Shift F and cursor to center, put it back in position. So anytime you make that error like I just made, that's how you fix it. All right, so B. And let's get this, and let's drag it over here, put that into position. And then I want to extrude out a little bit more with this. Or do I want it to just be, do I just want it to go and curve like that? I don't know. I haven't really decided if it looks better doing that with that rough angle. Yeah, it probably does look better if I do it the other way, doesn't it? All right, so let's go back to 3. And let's drag it back into position. So there's that curved edge there. And then let's just do a whole entire face select. So I'm going to go face select, get that, extrude, and then go back 3 to the side view. And I'm going to go out like that. You know what? I'm going to undo that. Get rid of that extrude that I just did. Okay, the extrude is gone. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a loop cut here that's going to go right there, and it's going to match up with this, and then I'm going to bend it on that angle. So I know I need to put these little bars inside of here, so let's just do that now. So I'm going to go Control and R, and I'm going to need to have 1, 2, 3. I'm going to need at least 3 of them for right now. So let's just do that. Again, I'm moving up with my middle mouse button, dragging it around. Okay. All right. So I got that. And let's put this inside of here. And I'm going to show you a neat trick to get rid of this curve right here. So let's just deselect everything. And I'm going to go Control, hold down the Control key, and right clicking on this. And then to make it into a straight line, I'm going to go S, Z, and 0, and see how it went straight, and then I'm going to hit enter. Okay, so now I have a straight line there instead of the bend that we had. And then I'm going to bring this down here approximately right there, and then I'm going to, sort of block in that those streamlined little things. I don't know that much about cars, whatever they're called. You can tell me in the comments section. But the part that sort of extrudes out on the side, that's what I'm going to do with that. Okay, so we got that. Now what I'm going to do is unselect this, and then I'm going to go and do a face select here. Right click on that, and we can do an extrude and enter, and then 3. And then I'm going to bring this out just slightly, and then I'm going to change into vertices mode, and I'm going to bend that. So let's go B and grab it, and then bring it out. Okay, so there, that is more like what the original design was for this whole thing. And let's go and grab just the edge there of that guy and bring it in. Let's bring it in the whole way. All right, so there we go. We have that part all set up. Now what I want to do is come in and do our windows. So I'm going to do some more loop cuts. I'm going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of those. So let's just go Control R, and you can see they're going in. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and enter. And where do we want our first one to be? Of course, we're going to make all of these straight. So I'm going to go Alt and right click on this guy. And then to make it straight, I'm going to go S, Y, and 0. And there it is. Now it's straight. And then I'm going to hit Enter. And then I'm going to position it. So I'm going to drag it over here and drop it in right there. And I'm going to do the same with this guy right here. So I'm going to go Alt and right click on that. S, Y, and 0. Straight. See? It's exactly the way I want it. Put it right here. And Alt and right click on this. S, Y, 0. And Enter. And let's drag it and put it here. And then I'm going to do like insets and things whenever I am doing the windows. SY0, enter, drag it over here, and Alt, right click, and I'm going to do SY0 because I want it to be straight for now. And then I can put it into position. Let's put it like right here. That's fine. And then deselect everything. And then I'm going to go and grab these individual little guys here. So once again, the vertices select is down here. And I'm going to come in and grab just those and move them into position. So I got that one right there into position. And then A, deselect, B, and let's grab this one and move it into position so that they are nice and straight. Okay, so now I got my windows all blocked in. That's good. So I'm going to, I'm actually going to grab all of these two, so that I can use those to help model my extruded streamline thing that's going to come out of there. All right, so that looks pretty good. A to deselect once again, and I can continue on from this point onward here. So what do I want to do next? Well, I got these all sort of drawn in here. I could use that to help me draw. Nah, I'm probably going to do another one just for this face right here. For this, I can use this, and then have the break be right there, and then draw that all as one. I'm going to go and do a loop cut, though, for this bar that's going to come down here and bend, and I'm probably going to use the knife tool to cut this angle into this. But before I do that, I'm thinking that I probably want to extrude out my bottom bumper because that is a little less complicated than everything else that I'm doing here. So what do I want to do? This is going to come down here. I think I want to extrude down and then extrude out like this. So what I'm going to do is, before we get too complicated with the top part, I'm going to go get this and I'm going to start extruding downwards and just doing a face select and right clicking all of these guys, and there they are. And so let's go back to 3 and I'm going to go E and enter again to extrude, bring it down here. So I got that in place, and then I can do all the extrusions for everything else here, and everything will look pretty neat. A to deselect, B to select. I'm going to come up here and grab all of these guys. This won't affect anything by moving those. Whoops, I've got to change back into vertices mode. And I'm going to go B, and I'm going to select all of these and drag them to the right so that that lines up there. That looks pretty good. Deselect. And this, I'm probably just going to have the wheel well be where it is right now. That looks fine. I'm going to add in another loop cut so that I'll be able to define the part down here that's going to be gray. So I'll probably just grab this guy right here and drag it into place. For now, I'm thinking that's a good idea. And I'm going to do another loop cut here so I can define this. So I'm going to go Control and R. There that is. Drag it into position. Let's try. This is going up and down, so that should be, well, let's place it first, and then let's go SY0. There, that's straight now. Drag this over here, and then I will, there's that positioned. For right now, I don't know if I need to do anything else with it. I'm going to extrude downwards from this so that I can make this go into position. And whenever you're modeling these, what you want to do is you're basically creating faces, or at least that's the way I look at it. So I want to create the face so I can extrude this out from here. So I'm going to drag this over here and put it right there. See, now I can, this is a face that I can extrude out for my bumper, which is something I want to do. These faces all match up that are going to allow me to create my gray space down below. What I need to do now is create some more loop cuts that are going to allow me to define this part right here that's going to extrude out. So let's just do that right now. So let's go Control and R, go back over here towards the left, and that allows you to do loop cuts that go horizontal versus vertical. Okay. All right. So I'm just gonna do 2 of them because I don't want to mess with anything else. This is an extremely important part. So let's go and let's grab that. Let's put it right here. So that's gonna allow me to get those faces right there. Now I need to go and let's mess with this a little bit. Let's say that I decide that I want the loop cut to come down. All right. Let's do a B. This isn't gonna matter. Let's mess with this a little bit. Grab that and drag it over here a little bit and deselect that. So it's coming roughly right there. And then I'm going to say that I want to go from there down to this area. So I'm going to do another loop cut for the top of that. And remember, I want to go towards the left side for drawing those in there. And so I got that there, and let's go and drag it down to create the very top of that. So now I have loop cuts for this, this, and this. I'm going to use a knife tool to come down and drag into this. And can I use this to create the rest of the faces that I'm looking for? As far as I can tell, the answer to that question is yes. So I'm going to deselect this, B. I'm going to grab this and move it in just a little bit. That looks good. Deselect that, and I'm going to use a knife tool to cut down there to create that part, those faces, and cut down to those faces right there. So knife tool, there it is, and let's go and grab it. It doesn't have to be precise because I can drag them into position. Okay, I dragged and created all those vertices, and I hit enter on my keyboard. I'm going to deselect. Now what I want to do is individually come in here and drag these until by my eye they look like they're good. So I'm going to sort of use the background image. So get that back in order, and then I'm going to use my knife tool again. So knife tool, again, I'm going to drag from here down and create all the faces that I need. Whenever I get to the last one, I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to hit A to deselect them. Then I'm going to grab them and move them into position to what looks good. So roughly in the center, A to deselect, right click vertices, and I'm just sort of working this together, and there we are. So now we have all those different parts. Okay, so I have the face for that. I don't like the way this looks. Whatever. Those are all those faces. So those are all the faces that I'm going to be able to select to create all of those different parts. I'm also going to be able to create these faces. I need to be able to extrude this down, however, to create that part and that part. What I'm going to do is get the front bumper first. So I'm going to do a face select and right click, and I'm going to go E, enter, jump back over into the side view with the 3, and I'm going to extrude that down, and that looks fine. Let's deselect that. Now what I want to do is go and do another Control R here, another Control R here, so that I can extrude downwards and then merge, do another one there, and then extrude outwards from there. I'm not the greatest Blender user in the universe, as you're well aware. I could probably use a lot less cuts and a lot less vertices, but things turn out well enough for me, so that's what I'm doing. Okay, so I need to have 2 of these. So again, in my middle mouse button, just roll my mouse button on my mouse wheel up a little bit, left click, and then I can extrude these down, and then unselect all those, hold down the Alt key, right click this, drag this down here, put that in position. If I wanted to have these be straight, I could SY0, See, like that, but I don't really care. They, they look fine. Some people really like it to have those be straight. I don't know. I guess they kind of look nice. SY0, and there it is. And we'll drag that into position. Okay, so now I can make this bumper. So let's deselect before we start dragging our mouse around and potentially cause all kinds of problems. We're going to do our face select. We're going to select this, face select. There, make sure you get the right thing. There we are. Extrude, enter. Jump back into side view and then drag that down. There we go. We just created our other bumper. So that's good. Always hit A button to cause a lot of problems to disappear. I'm going to do another extrusion here. So let's do this here. Drag that into position. That looks fine. Actually, it works better to have that curve there. Okay, so now I have another face that I'll be able to extrude down and then create the bottom part of that bumper. So face select and right click all of these different guys so that we can extrude them, and then we will shrink them down. So extrude, boom, and then we will drag them down into position, and that looks pretty good. Yeah, something like that. Deselect all of them, jump back into vertices mode, and then box select them and drag that over into position. And once again, box select these and drag that into position. Whoops, I forgot. Always hit A after you do anything. That'll keep you from doing dumb things. And there we are. And got that into position right there. A to deselect. And then once again, I'm going to extrude outwards first. Create the outwards part of this. So what am I going to do? I'm going to do face select. Remember, you can hit the control tab, but I'm just too much of a meathead for some dumb reason. I can't do that without messing up other things. So, all right, so let's grab that, put that in position. Let's get the bottom part here instead. A to deselect. Let's go get the vertices and B and put this in position. That looks about right. And then I'm going to grab these and extrude them down. Back. All right, so this upwards. So A to deselect once again, and I'm going to do face selects, and I'm going to extrude and draw that in there. So select all these guys. Make sure you get them all, and extrude, boom, 3, and then we'll drag these down right like that, and then deselect, and then for the neat work, we will go and work with our vertices. B, select that, put that down into position, and there we go. Got the whole outer shell of our car all done, and everything is straight and looks pretty sharp. Jump back over into 3. And just so that I can just keep this nice and simple, what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the tutorial here, and in the next part, I'm going to extrude out these parts, and I'm going to add in the wheels and the headlights and the blinker up here and all of the other details. So I got all of the basics all lined up here and ready to go. And like always, please leave your questions and comments below. Otherwise, till next time.